This is for the YouTube, so let's get this like going like this.
The YouTube.
Yeah, this is for YouTube. So let's put me all front and center here, and make sure you're leaving troll comments in the chat while I'm doing this because it's going to show up on the YouTube video later. What we've been doing is a brand new segment. It's called No BS OBS, and what it is we do a deep dive into one particular portion of OBS in order to maybe help you with your stream production. And this episode, in the segment of No BS OBS, I present to you the one and only Darth Fader, who's going to be giving us a briefing and also a deep dive into nested scenes. Take it away.
Yeah, so this is just something that is kind of common in the workflow of OBS and things like that. It's at its core, it's very simple. We'll kind of go over just basic stuff and then something that, may be a little bit more intricate, a little bit more easy to handle if you got, some harder, difficult scenes, more complicated stuff or whatever, just like that. Okay. All right, so let's do something real simple. If you come over here, you can see that there's a bunch of stuff going on in this one particular thing for Zoom, right? There's just different pictures down here, there's video sources, there's all different kinds of stuff. We can just create a blank scene, so we just call it No BS OBS, right? So this is going to be a blank scene that I'm going to use during a DJ set, right? So say I'm going to, use just a simple thing like Billy's room. Ooh, look at where we are now.
Look at that sexy room.
Yeah, it's a sexy ass room. If say like, you have like this scene and maybe like another scene, or it's just a couple of cameras and that's it. This is something that's super, super basic, right? What would you say were like the three things, if you could do like three things that you need to have in a scene in Twitch these days, what would you say that they would be?
One would be alerts, the pop-up alerts.
Mm-hmm.
Another one would probably be like a chat box of some sort.
Okay.
Camera
and then the camera, right? From the Annex makes a good point. Audio is a pretty important one too.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's what I said.
Exactly. Yes, right. So let's think. So in my brain, I went here, right? I went audio,
Right.
alerts, and emote wall, because like not everyone uses it, but a lot of people do. Twitch enjoys using the emote wall and whatnot.
I'm with
right?
you.
So in this workflow right here in Billy's room, I've got the sources here. If I wanted to go and create this as like a basic scene, I need to go into a browser source and I need to go down here and I need to grab my emote widget browser and add that. So that way, when I go in and drop an emote, it'll pop up, right? And then we got to get we need the audio. We want the audio input capture, the device that's coming from your, whatever, your mixer, your sound card, whatever you're doing, that as well. We've got to have that in here. And then the last thing is the little alert box. You can Streamlabs, you Stream Elements, whatever you're using, right? To get, 916 Junglers just followed, or just tip this, or whatever. And it's got your fun little things, right? If you were going to be using these three things over here, or two, or whatever the things that you feel are constant in every scene that you're going to do, instead of adding this, having to go back and add these things over and over every time that you go and you make a new scene, you could create a nested scene. Because what I can do now is, let's just go down and we'll do, this is the essential shit, whatever you want to call it, right? So now we can go back and add the things into this specific scene. It's blank. Let's go and add the things one more time, as we're adding the, alert box, the emote wall, and then, like the audio, the audio, well, that's audio, but we can do two, it's fine. So these things are in here. So the emote wall is in here, my alert box is in here, right here. Those two things are in here. Right. Now, if I go back to this Billy's room thing that I've created, I can get rid of the emote wall. I can get rid of the alert box, and if I have this on, I can get rid of this, right? So that now that's all that's here, right? So now when I want to add I want to add this as one line of source. If you scroll down in OBS or in Streamlabs OBS and you go and click add scene, that's the move. Because then you can go and add an existing scene, and we'll go down and we'll find the essential shit. We got to go down and we'll find the essential shit. Okay. So now we've added these two line, like we've cleared up this workflow here. You know what I mean? So now we've got like two lines of code, two lines of source here. But if I and there's no emote wall, there's no showing on this source. But if I go in and type it in, send an emote in the chat, there they are. Because what this is doing is this nested scene is referencing this scene that has the alert box, that has the emote wall already on it. So this is just saying, I want everything that's in this scene to show up on this one line of source and this one thing that's here. So that's one way of kind of keeping yourself a little bit more organized. And then there's some stuff that we can do a little bit more complicated, a little bit more complex when we're using things with effects and filters and things of that nature. Using nested scenes is what's going to help you kind of create effects in certain areas, but not apply it to the source itself.
Yeah, that helped me out with the chroma key. Like I wanted chroma key or a color key on one on one part of it, and I just couldn't figure it out. So I asked Billy, and he was like, "Oh yeah, simple. You just nest the scene." I was like, well, "What the hell's that?" So that's what really helped me. I mean, that what you're doing is more than I generally do, since I don't do visuals and things like that. But I just needed that one thing to work, and it worked perfectly.
Awesome.
Yeah. So this is my, this is one of the scenes that I have that's that I'm using a few nested scenes. If you look here, there's like these little like hamburger looking ones. Those are all nested scenes. So it's a lot of shit. But like this is my normal, like what I'm using for like my normal camera layer, and this is what it normally looks like without any filters. Well, there's a chroma key, but like that's it, right? So this is like my normal situation.
Sweet shirt, by the way.
You like that? I just came in the mail today, hot off the presses.
You got it before me. I don't even know how that happened.
I'm a big fan of Burger King.
Where's your Whopper crown?
So I would recommend that you guys put your camera source into a nested scene, because this is going to help if you were to go ahead and add filters, effects, or this kind of stuff. That's the easiest and fastest way, instead of like using my camera source, like the actual piece, the device itself. I always reference this nested scene, which has this camera in it already, because if I were to go and edit the filter, like a filter on this on this camera source, it applies things globally. I'm about to go in here and seriously mess up my stuff, okay? But we're gonna do it. We're doing it live. So like if I go in and add a color correction filter, and we're doing this with like the hue shift, right? If I go in and I make myself purple. So if I were to go to any one of my other scenes, I've just made this. This is the global
Orange
thing of what I look like right now. You know what I mean? So like it's global, no matter what scene I use, it is like that. But if I do want to go ahead and do something fun or different, all I need to do is, again, you need to create another scene. Let's do purple people. So I've got a blank scene. I'm going to go add, since I've already done this, I'm going to go add the scene of my camera source. So it's adding, so I just added this into this scene, right? So now if I do want to do and change myself purple to go be in a part of a scene or what have you, I would go in and instead of applying the the filter or the effects or anything on the device in the sources itself, I'm going to come down here into the scenes, and I can apply a filter on a scene itself. So now with this scene, I can go in and change. I can go and color correct it or do something else. But I'm going to turn myself purple again. Then I can go back and reference the scene. So now I'm purple people, and this scene can do whatever I want here. But then when I go and switch to this scene, I'm still me, still using the same camera source, using the filter only on the scene that it's being used for, and I can still use one camera source, but do a million different things, bunch of different things with it all at once without affecting the original device that it's being used on. And this is one of those ways that you can take nested scenes and kind of create cool, kind of different things.
I think what you're doing is super handy when it comes to specifically what you did with the camera. I think that was super handy because I've run into the situation where even if it's not something like turning me purple, but there's like a camera setting that looks good in one scene, but wouldn't work in another scene. Good information here for sure. Big up Darth Fader.